Stavros Tousios for M4Markets. Today we're going to have a quick look on WTI oil and also the dollar against the CAD. Of course, it's moving because of the way the prices of oil have on the Canadian dollar. So we have seen a nice divergence signal up to 83.50 between the RSI and prices, and a move to the downside that seems to be actually forming somewhat of an impulsive move to the downside. Seems to be multi-structural as well, which suggests, and also because we are outside the base channel, the bottom of the base channel now, and at the same time that has become now from support areas a resistance. It's probably something like a correction, okay? And this leg, of course, being impulsive with no overlaps indicates that there could be a new trend here setting up. So the idea here would be to let this actually play out, let this come lower down after an actual correction, see whether the 74 or the 71.60 hold prices, and take it from there. Currently, we don't really see much of a signal. We do see some sort of divergence that starts from, let's say, here all the way down there. We are in oversold territories as well, and the potential for a short-term move to the upside, it's getting a bit more likely. Typically, corrections end up being something like this, an ABC correction. So if we have finished the first leg to the downside, then supposedly this is going to cause some sort of retracement and the further continuation. And usually this continuation, it's the same length as the length of the first leg, which means if this is $10, for example, then the second leg to the downside would also be $10. So just keep that in mind. Now, when it comes to dollar against the CAD, it was a while ago that we drew this channel. And here's what happened since. I think we're somewhere up here. We've fallen all the way down to retest that channel low. And we have nearly done a 90% correction as well from that last leg to the upside. Okay, so now both of these moves, the one going up and the one going down, can be considered impulsive because there's no overlaps between the actual waves. This can be a bit more clear because this is quite often a clear impulse versus this one, which is a bit more wobbly, and we usually prefer at least the second leg because there's three legs going into one direction. We'll have an impulse. The second leg, we prefer the second leg to be definitely more clear, more impulsive, and the most powerful, which is in this case, something like that. Now, with this being done, likely, right, there is potential for further upside here, which matches the expectation for further downside as a pullback in the prices of oil. Now, we have come previous to the previous stop, okay? We have done, actually just broke that signal over here, but we do still have a signal from here to here, okay? Or the moment we'll go above 83 on the RSI, that will become an actual signal to the downside. So there is room, a little bit more room to move towards perhaps the 136, but I think we might miss that in the first chance as well. So what I'm looking for is potentially something like a local top one of these days, a correction, and then further continuation to the upside. And the length of this continuation, the second leg to the upside, is going to determine whether this is going to be a continuation to the upside, i.e. a trend change, or we're going to start moving back lower towards the trend line once again. Now, if we look at it from a different perspective, from up here all the way down to that leg, look, we came above the 38, we missed the 50. So there is potential to do 135.84, okay, where a local top could print from them, see an actual correction, and then further continuation to the upside, if, of course, this is supported by the 1 hour. Well, look, the 1 hour shows some sort of divergence, actually flat, the RSI, while prices are moving up. So moving up while the RSI is actually falling, as we see now, is going to give us a more clear signal. And from there, of course, the chances of pullback that I'm thinking are going to increase. So something like this. And then from down here, we're going to be looking between the 38 and 61.8% again to provide us some sort of bounce, or where we'll find good support firmness, then that should potentially be the signal for the next leg to the upside.